Hi, it's Miles Red Songbird, Eve's daughter, Einstein, Mary Magdalene. In part one, I left off saying Stevie Wonder is a musical genius. Stevie Wonder began in the Garden of Eden as Adam's penis, the serpent. And he fell in love with Eve's reasoning quality. And then he incarnated as Judas Iscariot, who killed himself because he felt such remorse betraying Christ. But he was in love with Christ's wife, Mary Magdalene, who was the quality of reasoning that he had fallen in love with in the Garden of Eden. Then he reincarnated as Adolf Hitler to avenge Mary Magdalene's grief, because these people said they were Jews and Jews killed Christ. So he was going to kill the Jews. Turns out those Jews, people who call themselves Jews, are Sabatinos something from Turkey. The real Jews, real Israelites, are the black people. Then Hitler blew his brains out and incarnated as Stevie Morris, who attracted blindness. His mother, a prostitute, cried, blaming herself for her kid's blindness. And Steve said, "No, you don't have to feel guilty. I like being blind." Okay. So he convinced his mother and himself that he likes being blind. And Edwin Birdsong picked up on Michelle Birdsong's life by looking into her eyes and looking at life from her vantage point and listening to her words. So she said Stevie Wonder's a musical genius. So he, when they were making the album What It Is, created music to match her genius lyric, which put them at the level of Stevie Wonder. See? So then Stevie Wonder calls them when the album comes out. He's impressed. He loves it. He wants to meet them. So Edwin attaches himself to this musical genius, Stevie Wonder. Edwin himself is Bach. Michelle Birdsong is Beethoven. Their son is Mozart. So there already was genius. And so Stevie Wonder was actually Michelle Birdsong's husband, because they had walked down the aisle on American Airlines 727 jet when she was an airline stewardess and he was a passenger. And they created a baby, immaculately conceived baby, called Robin Michelle Birdsong. Then Stevie Wonder, loving Mary Magdalene's quality of reasoning, who is Mary Magdalene is now Michelle Birdsong, follows her way of thinking, falls in love with her, gets into her through listening to her reasoning. So he gets on her wavelength and he creates songs that she would like. Ma Cherie Amour. Her name is Michelle. She's French. Of course she's like that. You are the sunshine of my life. She's a daughter of the sun. Of course she would like hearing about the sun. What it is oh so new. What it is oh so true. I just called to say I love you. That's what happened. He called to say he loved What It Is. He said it right there in the song. So this is what people are doing. Roy Ayers, he is a friend of Edwin's. He got into Michelle's eyes. He said, "My mother said, never marry a pretty woman." Okay, so we didn't get personal. But he got into her eyes. She was doing some modeling. And you can see the pictures at Michelle Birdsong channel I love you, Michelle, yeah, baby. That's the song Edwin wrote for her. So Roy knew she did some modeling, so he invited her. This is her. This is Edwin. This is Roy. He invited her to pose for the album cover for his next album. So she went all the way up to the cloisters, and she posed. This is Herbie Mann. He was a sideman for Herbie Mann. And Roy took a look at the picture. This is Michelle's niece, Venita Long Holmes. Venita Michelle Long Holmes was Solomon in a parallel life. So Roy said to her, I can't use the photographs. They're too pretty. So he messed with her head, right? I'm supposed to feel guilty because I'm pretty? I don't even feel pretty. What are you talking about? Okay, so then, knowing she's a lyricist, because she wrote the lyrics for What It Is and Supernatural, he said, can you write some lyrics for this title, Pretty Brown Skin? So she said, sure. So she wrote some lyrics. So it's a high-minded person she is. So she doesn't think brown is better than white, or white is better than brown, although as a child she thought white was better than brown because she lived in Jim Crow laws where the brown people were second-class citizens. But anyway, so she wrote the lyric, and a part of it says, if I can remember,